Hi there, it's Carl and I work at 5x Growth. And today I wanted to share with you um, a very powerful feature on Google Ads that basically no one uses. And this feature is Google Experiments. So as you can see on your screen, we have experiment summary. But before we dive deep into the real example that I'm going to show you that we did for our client, I want to just talk a little bit about Google Experiments. So to get better results from Google Ads, you need to make changes to your campaigns. And it's a very obvious statement. And every tweak you make to your campaigns is literally a mini test. Um, so Google Ads has a special feature called Google Ads Experiments, as you can see, which allows you to properly A/B test changes to a campaign, right? And like if we define what Google Ads Experiment means, it basically allows you to test the performance of an alternative version of a campaign in order to improve a campaign's performance. Yeah, very complicated explanation, but I guess it's very straightforward. So let me start out by saying that Google Ads Experiment is overkill for most of the changes you'll make to your campaigns. And what do you mean by an overkill? Well, um, most changes that advertisers make in Google Ads are small tweaks. For example, changing the max CPC of a product or adding a new keyword to an ad group. These are small changes, and you don't really need to launch an experiment to to understand something or to improve your performance. The consequences of these changes are usually pretty limited. So, if you change the max CPC and suddenly the actual cost per click is too high, then you can simply lower it. That's it. You don't have to run a whole experiment about it. But some changes feel, uh, uh, but like, no, no, no. The bigger your change, that's when your Google Ads experiments can shine, right? Because it helps you to reduce the risk by testing an alternative version of a campaign on a subset of traffic. For example, you can send 50% of the traffic to the version using enhanced CPC and 50% to the version that uses target return on ad spend bidding. But actually, right now, like when I've tried to do that, I couldn't because I think Google used to have this feature and now they don't. You basically can't change the bidding settings, which is frustrating. But you get the point that your changes just need to be big, and that's basically it. So in experiments, you can do like Google Ads experiments offers three types of experiments to run. And yeah, you can see it here. Optimize text ads, video experiment, custom experiment. So in optimized text ads, you can test variations of your expanded or responsive search ads. Video experiment is pretty straightforward. And the custom experiment, that's the one that we use like most of the time. Um, and while the first two are pretty limited in scope, the customer experiment allows you to make any changes to your campaign, almost any changes. Yeah, and like For custom experiments, you first need to pick like campaign type, and then you're gonna have your base campaign, as you can see, and your trial campaign. So base campaign, this is your original campaign that will be used as a template. And then next, Google Ads will create a trial campaign which is identical to the original one, with the exception of the changes that you make. So the sky is literally the limit. You can change everything in a campaign, like targeting, bidding strategy. No, not bidding strategy, not anymore. Like it used to be where you can change the bidding strategy, but not now. Basically, targeting, keywords, match type, ads, like whatever. Uh, Anything that you can change, bid adjustments, you can do it. As you can see, our experiment has been running for only 7 days, and but as a rule of thumb, let experiments run for at least 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah, it's very important. For example, as you can see, we don't have um, enough data on our conversions, and that's basically because you need to get at least 100 conversions to to have statistically significant data. But not many businesses can afford that. For example, if you do ads for attorneys in the United States, their cost per click is very high, so you get very few conversions per month. So this kind of experiment would run, I don't know, 3 months in order to get 200 conversions or even more. Um, uh, One way to avoid this is to optimize for mini conversions. For example, a macro conversion would be a sale, but a mini conversion can be when someone left their email, right? Um, but sometimes you basically can see where the trend is going, um, but it's not like very scientific if you just have, for example, what we have right now. We have 7 days. We have statistically significant data about cost and all the other metrics except conversions. But we can see that like our conversions have gone up by 21%, and our cost per conversion has decreased by 65%. Yeah, and let's quickly check like the difference in percentages is the percentage change in performance between your experiment and the original campaign. So if you're not familiar with statistics, this might seem very complicated. Um, so it basically indicates the variation, uh, like how it was different, and it wasn't just luck, you know. You can just click on the question marks and you will get the gist of how it works and so on. Yeah, well, as you can see, this is our first experiment with our campaign, and we have uh, inconclusive data because we didn't get to 100 conversions. And the second one, also the same problem. Even if we were to let them run for 2 weeks instead of 1 week, we still wouldn't get to 100 conversions, right? But as you can see, this experiment was not as successful as this one. And actually, if you want to know what's the difference, um, for example, base, it's one thing, and in trial campaign, we just added our target CPA. For example, our base campaign didn't have any target CPA, and it implemented maximized conversions. But with trial campaign, we wanted to see how a target CPA of like $70 will affect our performance. Um, yeah, and eventually we implemented target CPA for this campaign, but for this one we didn't because our cost and spend, basically the spend, has gone down by 85%, and obviously we have less conversions. And for this particular client, it's important to have a lot of conversions, and sometimes it doesn't even matter like if they're high, as long as they're not above like $150, because it's a B2B SaaS startup, and they get like $2,000 LTV. And yeah, and basically this is a split between the traffic. Uh, you can choose whether it can be cookie based or search based. I would recommend to just read the Google articles about it and start implementing it in your campaigns. So that's all I wanted to share with you today. Thank you very much for listening. I hope this is going to help. And if you need a consultation, contact us. We would be glad to help. Have a great day. Bye.